Hercules is a mythological hero known for his strength and far-ranging adventures. He is one of the most commonly portrayed figures from classical mythology in the popular culture of the 20th and 21st centuries. For earlier cultural depictions, see Hercules. Filmography Italian, 1950s Euro 60s A series of 19 Italian Hercules movies of the sword and sandal film genre were made in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The first and most successful of these was Hercules, starring Steve Reeves. Other actors who played Hercules in these films were Gordon Scott, Kirk Morris, Mickey Hagite, Mark Forrest, Alan Steele, Dan Vades, Brad Harris, Reg Park, Peter Lupus and Michael Lane. The films are listed below by their American release titles, and the titles in parentheses are the original Italian titles with English translation. Hercules starring Steve Reeves, Hercules Unchained starring Steve Reeves, Goliath and the Dragon starring Mark Forrest, Hercules vs. the Hydra co-starring Mickey Hagite and Jane Mansfield, Hercules and the Captive Women starring Reg Park, Hercules in the Haunted World 1961 starring Reg Park, Hercules in the Valley of Woe starring Frank Gordon as Hercules, 1961, Ulysses Against the Son of Hercules starring Mike Lane, 1962, The Fury of Hercules starring Brad Harris, 1962, Hercules, Samson and Ulysses starring Kirk Morris, 1963, Hercules vs. Moloch starring Gordon Scott. 1963, Son of Hercules in the Land of Darkness starring Dan Vades, 1964, Hercules vs. the Giant Warriors starring Dan Vades, 1964, Hercules Against Rome starring Alan Steele, 1964, Hercules Against the Sons of the Sun starring Mark Forrest, 1964, Samson and His Mighty Challenge starring Alan Steele as Hercules, 1964, Hercules and the Tyrants of Babylon starring Rock Stevens, 1964, Hercules and the Princess of Troy starring Gordon Scott, 1965. This US/Italian co-production was made as a pilot for a Charles Band-produced TV series that never materialized, and it was later distributed as a feature film. Hercules the Avenger starring Reg Park, 1965. A number of English-dubbed Italian films that featured the Hercules name in their title were never intended to be Hercules movies by their Italian creators. Hercules Against the Moon Men, Hercules Against the Barbarians, Hercules Against the Mongols and Hercules of the Desert were all originally Marxist films in Italy. Hercules and the Black Pirate and Hercules and the Treasure of the Incas were both originally Samson movies in Italy. Hercules, Prisoner of Evil was originally an Ursus film in Italy. Hercules and the Masked Rider was actually originally a Goliath movie in Italy. None of these films in their original Italian versions involved the Hercules character in any way. Likewise, most of the Sons of Hercules movies shown on American TV in the 1960s had nothing to do with Hercules in their original Italian versions. Other films The Warrior's Husband, directed by Walter Lang, in which Hercules, played by Tiny Sinchford, is a clumsy, cowardly, comic character. The Three Stooges Meet Hercules, American comedy with the Three Stooges and Samson Burke playing Hercules. Jason and the Argonauts, with Hercules as a member of crew of the Argo, searching for the Golden Fleece but leaving before they get there. Hercules in New York, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hercules and its sequel The Adventures of Hercules with Lou Ferrigno as the title character. Hercules, American animated feature, produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation. The Amazing Feats of Young Hercules, in which Hercules must complete 4 feats of heroism with his weasel companion Felina. Jason and the Argonauts, in which Hercules travels all the way to Colchis with the Argonauts. Little Hercules travels from Mount Olympus to live life as a mortal in Los Angeles played by Richard Sandrak. Immortals, in which Heracles is played as one of the Olympian gods by Steve Byers. The Legend of Hercules, directed by Rennie Harlin and played by Kellen Lutz. Hercules, directed by Brett Ratner and played by Dwayne Johnson. Based on the comic series by Steve Moore. Hercules Reborn, directed by Nick Lyon and played by John Morrison. Television, The Mighty Hercules, an animated series produced in 1963 by Adventure Cartoon Productions in connection with Translux Television. The Sons of Hercules, a 1970s television series, Hercules, based upon Hercules' fulfillment of the 12 labors. Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, a TV series and several made-for-television movies in 1995 and 1999 starring Kevin Sorbo. Hercules, the animated series, a TV series based upon the 1997 Disney film. Young Hercules, a spin-off of Hercules, The Legendary Journeys which aired on Fox Kids from September 12, 1998 to May 12, 1999, starring Ryan Gosling. Hercules, a 2005 television mini-series done by Hallmark Entertainment. Hercules is the mentor and ancestor of Hairy Hercules from Clash of the Titans. Hercules appears in the BBC One series Atlantis where he is portrayed by Mark Addy. Video games and pinball, Hercules, popularly considered to be the largest pinball machine made, Hercules was an oversized pinball machine released by Atari. The Return of Hercules is a video game designed by Stuart Smith and released for Atari 8-bit and Commodore 64 computers. It is a turn-based adventure RPG designed around the 12 labors of Hercules, though you could play as any or all of several characters including Pegasus and Achilles. Its design is similar to Smith's earlier game Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. Hercules is the title character of the Hercules no Oika series, Glory of Hercules, a video game for the Nintendo DS, in which you play a boy who lost his memories but is believed to be Hercules. Along his journey, he finds that others have also lost their memories and also believes they are Hercules. The game's story plot does not reflect the actual story of the mythology. Disney's Hercules, based on the animated film of the same name. A variation of the Disney version appears as a supporting character in Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days, Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts Coded. Herc's Adventures is a comedy-adventure role-playing video game on the PlayStation where you must complete many tasks, many of which are not actually credited to Hercules anywhere else. Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, based upon the TV series of the same name. Released to Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color. The game pits Hercules against his evil half-brother Ares. Empire Earth features a character named Hercules in the first mission of the Greek campaign, where he is the chieftain of an Anatolian tribe who must lead his people to Thessaly before the winter season sets in. Hercules is a hero character in Age of Mythology and Age of Empires, mythologies for the Nintendo DS. In the Japanese visual novel Fate Stay Night as well as its anime adaptation, Hercules appears as one of 7 heroic spirits summoned to fight in the Holy Grail War. He has 12 lives to represent the 12 labors he underwent for immortality. Hercules, Battle with the Gods is a Nintendo DS and PlayStation 2 game where he must free Pegasus from the clutches of his uncle the evil god Poseidon. Dragon Fable by Artix Entertainment features a parody of the 12 labors in the form of a quest chain set by a chicken cow god named Eusta. Rise of the Argonauts, a video game for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Hercules appears as one of Jason's Argonauts during the game, as an NPC party character. God of War 3, Hercules is a boss character and half-brother of the main character Kratos. He is portrayed as sinister and jealous of Kratos, possibly a result of being infected by the evils of Pandora's box, believing Kratos was Zeus' favored son, comparing Kratos' tasks to have been more intense than Hercules' 12 labors. Hercules fights Kratos to claim the throne as God of War, which was left vacant after Zeus stripped Kratos of his powers, declaring it his 13th unofficial and final labor. Kratos, however, kills him and acquires the Nemean cestus, a pair of fist gauntlets that Hercules acquired from the Nemean lion. He was voiced by Kevin Sorbo, who reprised the role from Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. Smite, a video game in which he is known as the Champion of Rome. 12 Labors of Hercules, a series of casual strategy time management video games. Books, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, in the series by Rick Riordan, Hercules is portrayed negatively in The Titan's Curse, receiving help and getting the golden apples but giving no credit to his helpmate, Zoe Nightshade. He appears again as a minor antagonist in The Heroes of Olympus, The Mark of Athena. Comic books. Hercules, a 1941 DC comic, Hercules, a 1958 Dell comic adapting the film from the same year, Hercules Unchained, a 1959 Dell comic adapting the sequel to the 1958 film. The Mighty Hercules, a 1963 Gold Key comic based on the animated series of the same name, Hercules, a 1965 Marvel comic, Hercules, Adventures of the Man-God, a 1967 Charlton comic, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, a 1996 Topps comic based on the TV series of the same name, Hercules, a 2008 Radical comic by Steve Moore. References: http, ipdb.org/machine.cgi?id = 1155. See also, Massist, Lockheed C-130 is a military transport aircraft also named Hercules.